Want your business to thrive and keep the love alive? I'm Amy Walker, small business strategist, speaker, and author, and today we are talking about balancing work and marriage, relationship, and career advice for how you can have the best of both worlds. If you haven't done it yet, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and hit that bell notification so that you can get notified every time we release new content. This is a channel that is dedicated to helping you be able to grow your business and maintain balance at home. And I love having you here and sharing tips with you. So let's jump in and get started. Don't let your marriage get put on the back burner while you're hustling to grow your business. I get it. There's a part of you that feels like I'm growing this business for my family. So I need to sacrifice. It's this whole short-term sacrifice, long-term gain mentality. If I just sacrifice and put in the time and hustle now, it's going to provide the lifestyle that I want for my family down the road. True. And your marriage is only going to be as strong and as connected as the time that you invest into it. Your marriage is one thing that I really don't think that you can afford to put on the back burner. I have seen 20-year marriages fall apart in a matter of 1 to 2 years. It's not a long window of time. It's not like kids. Like kids, you can, there's a connection between parents and their kids, and you can, it's sounding like I'm saying put your kids on the back burner. I'm not saying put your kids on the back burner either. I'm just saying, like, I will love my parents no matter what. My parents will love me no matter what. In marriage, it's not a guarantee. You have to work for it. You have to commit to it, and you have to constantly pour into those relationships. So here's how we're going to run this video. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about why it is so important to create balance between your career and your relationships. The second thing that we're going to do is I'm going to give you some specific tips that you and your spouse can do in order to keep the business thriving and keep the love alive. And then we'll wrap up the video by talking about how putting your marriage first is actually a business growth strategy. So let's get started with why is it so important to keep a balance between work life and relationship life. I'm going to start first on the work side of it. Benefits to your work is that you're happier, you're more creative, you're more fully present when you're working because things are good on the home front and you feel a sense of safety and security. So you will show up better when you show up knowing that things are okay in the home front with your relationship. Now, let's talk about the relationship. Your spouse is more supportive of you being in business and doing the work that you need to do when their needs are being met. It's actually easier to continuously feed a relationship than it is to let your relationship get stagnant and have to try to fix things. That requires a lot more work. I have a law that I have adopted, which I call the law of equal effort, which means easy now, hard later. Hard now, easy later. You're going to put in the same amount of effort. So do you want to put in continual effort to keep your relationship good, or do you want to remove that effort, hustle in business, and then have to put time and effort into trying to save a marriage that is struggling? I would rather do it the first way. It's up to you how you want to do it. So let me give you some specific things. These are some specific tips that I have found that help us to be able to keep our relationship strong while we are working together and growing our business together and running our company together. So tip number 1 is dates. We value dates, and we are sometimes too busy for dates. There's no time for dates, and we do them anyway because we need time to remember who we are. My husband and I run the company together. We have 5 kids together. We run this family together, the house. There's a lot going on, and we need time to remember what Amy and Steven are like together. Not just what Amy, the business owner, and Steven, the operations director, are together. Not just what mom and dad are together. Not just life partners. We need actual time to reconnect with us. There's a part of me that is still that, 19-year-old girl that met my husband my first year in college. There's that part of me that still is inside. I need to remember who that person is and embrace who I'm becoming in this journey of going through life that I don't find anywhere else than with my husband. So I want that time for us to connect and to be together and make it like sacred space. fit it in, even if you don't have time, even if you feel like you don't have money. Like, you guys, I'm sure you have an Amazon subscription. Do some movie nights. You can find a way to create date time for you. My second tip for you is to schedule sex. I know that sounds so unsexy, but I'm telling you, it is more sexy to schedule sex and have it than it is to go through droughts because you're too busy and too exhausted. So create space for your intimacy, make it a priority. Ask for that time because you need it, your spouse needs it, and it's one of those key principles that keeps your relationship thriving, to be connected in that physical, spiritual, mental, emotional way. For men and women, I think that's one of the most connected spaces that we get into, although we experience it differently. For women, a lot of times it's not the actual act of intercourse, it's everything leading up to it and around it and the whole experience. Whereas for men, it might be that in that moment, that's when they feel the highest level of connection. But for both of us, it really is about connection. So make sure you create that space and that time so that you can have a thriving sex relationship with your spouse. Tip number 3, don't make work your priority. Make marriage your priority. Make your relationship your priority. And I know that might sound backwards, and there might be some of you that are getting pushback, but you're like, but I'm in such a critical time in my business. I'm launching, or I'm growing, or I'm scaling, and like this needs to be the priority right now. It might be the thing that takes the most time, but it's not the priority. The priority is your personal fulfillment. It's your happiness. It's your relationship. It's you guys being able to go the distance and be that couple that is married for years and years and years that gets to hold hands together in the nursing home. That's the priority. And anything that is out of alignment with that, you got to remove it. You got to put it on the back burner so that that part stays strong. Tip number 4, set your priorities together. I am a visionary in my business, and I am always coming up with ideas. I always have a goal. I always have somewhere that I want to go, and I'm constantly thinking of new things. My husband is really like stability, security minded. He likes consistency. He likes order. He's the kind of person who would like to live in the same house for his entire life. I'm the kind of person that likes to move about every 5 years. So we have to come together to set our priorities together in a way that honors both of us. I had someone recently ask, like, at what point do you stop changing what you want for your spouse? And I was like, that's so interesting, because for me, the highest level of fulfillment comes when we together are finding ways to take me as a really different person, him as a really different person, create priorities together in a way that we're both really happy with the output. I believe that's possible. So set your priorities together, set your goals together, and then allow yourself space to be able to do things that, like, I do stuff that he doesn't care about at all. He does stuff that I don't care about at all. We don't have to be the same person doing the same things, but we have our life priorities that we come to together, and then we both get to have space to do our own thing at the same time. Number 5, spend time each day meeting your partner's needs. It's so fun to be able to make your partner happy. And I think sometimes we get into this space of like, well, he's not meeting my needs, so why should I meet his needs? Because it's a joyful experience to meet your partner's needs, to be able to see that they are happy and that you built them up and you made their day a little bit easier. You eased their burdens. You made them feel like they could handle life and do it. It's fun to meet those needs. So do it. And here's the real secret is if you're meeting your spouse's needs, they will naturally, unless they are a narcissistic person, they're going to meet your needs more, because it becomes this positive thing to be able to spend time thinking of your spouse and thinking of how you can make them happy. It's joyful for you. It's joyful for them. And if both of you will approach the relationship that way, you're going to have a fantastic, fulfilling marriage. Tip number 6 and 7 go hand in hand together. Number 6, communicate your wins and goals with your partner. Tip number 7, don't complain, moan, and vent to your partner. The reason why they go together is because your spouse needs to hear one and they struggle to hear the other, especially if they're not working with you in the business. Every time you vent, you complain, what they hear is This business is making my spouse miserable and it's hard, and I think that there's an easier path, and you will find that that person wants to support you less in business. Whereas when they hear your goals and they hear your excitement and they hear your achievements, they're like, this business is really fulfilling my partner, and yeah, it's hard, but it's so worth the sacrifice. You frame that conversation so you'd get to decide how they support you based on what you tell them. My husband is extremely supportive. And in our early years of entrepreneurship, I did a lot of venting and complaining, and he did a lot of trying to protect me from something that was making me miserable, which did not feel like support to me. When I learned this principle, it shifted everything, and now he is so supportive, and he knows how I want to be supported, and he understands how much joy and fulfillment being an entrepreneur brings into my life. Which leads into tip number 8, which is teach your spouse how you want to be supported in your business. My husband used to try to support me by protecting me, and I had to teach him that what I really wanted to hear was, I know you can do this. I believe in you. You've been successful in every other instance. You will figure it out. Like, I needed to tell him these are the words that I need to hear. And there are some moments where I need to hear from him, you don't have to win in this area. It's okay if you fall flat on your face because I'm here for you. Like, there are different things that I need at different times, but how's he gonna know what I need if I don't actually tell him? So let your spouse know exactly what you need so that you can be supported in a way that's really honoring to you. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that I would share with you how having a strong marriage is actually a business growth strategy. And you might have been like, what are you talking about, Amy Walker? Well, here's the deal. If you are in your strongest, best, most inspired self, you will naturally create the best results in your business. When you have struggle, strife, turmoil, you will naturally not be able to give 100% to your business. So for me, making my family a priority has always helped me to grow my business. When my husband and I are in sync, I feel like we can create anything together, and we create fast, and it's easy and it's simple. The times when there's struggle and strife at home are the times when my business slows down the most. Now, maybe that's just me, but I think it's probably not. So I encourage you to really make your relationship and your marriage a top priority so that you can have permission to really grow and excel in business. I would love to hear from you. Out of the 8 tips that I shared, which one do you feel like is going to make the most difference in your family, and which one are you going to try first? If you would like to join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, make sure that you jump into our private Facebook group, The CEO Spot. I'd love to see you over there. And if this was a helpful video and you'd like to see more content like this, please let me know. Leave a comment, like the video, share it with another entrepreneur couple that you know. And thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support.